Gerald, I'll start with you. Business rates, huge bugbear. How much difference is this going to make?
Each of the announcements that the Chancellor made yesterday was positive. So business response the initial response has certainly been encouraging. Thank you very much indeed. This is of help. But it doesn't address the fundamental concerns, and I think that the complaints will continue. The business rate is too high. This is the highest local property tax anywhere in the world of comparable taxes, and to lessen slightly the speed of increase doesn't really address that fundamental issue that the burden is too high.
And of course we're going to get 3 yearly revaluations instead of 5 yearly. Potentially that's a bit of a stealth tax, some would say.
Well, I think 3 yearly is positive and much better than 5 yearly, or at the last revaluation it was extended to 7 years. It is absolutely right that we revalue more frequently so that changes in property values, in economic circumstances, flow through more quickly into change rates bills.
Now, Wendy, the Chancellor had a bit of a swipe at online retailers. There's this royalties tax, for example, on sales rather than profits. Is that going to help level the playing field between online and bricks and mortar retailers?
Well, I think what we've got, or what we've sort of, inherited over a number of years, is a tax system that was, brought about a very long time ago. So it needs to be modernised into the modern world that we all live in. And part of that, we are going to see a withholding tax on royalties paid in relation to sales to UK customers by overseas companies. So it's one measure, but there's going to be a much wider consultation as well.
Yeah, I mean, that particular measure is only going to raise £800 million over 4 years, which, put in the context of the likes of Amazon's UK sales, doesn't seem an awful lot.
Well, that's as I say, it's one measure. There's going to be a wider consultation on looking at the value, capturing the value from UK customers who interact with online platforms. So there is a wider piece going on, and there's a much wider piece that it's an international piece. And what I would like to see is the UK continuing the role that it's played as part of an international push on tax, and bringing it more globally, and actually bringing back the public's trust in business.
Jerry, we also had the Chancellor saying yesterday he was going to freeze the threshold at which VAT kicks in at 85,000. I mean, that helps small companies by and large. A lot of pressure on him to lower that, particularly from the Office for Tax Simplification, wasn't there?
Well, yes, this is not my area of specialisation. He has done a lot in the context of business rates in order to support small businesses, and he yesterday announced that he was going to abandon the ridiculous staircase tax that was impinging particularly on small businesses. So those aspects are certainly good news.
So on the basis of what you heard, do you think this helps give bricks and mortar retailers more skin in the game, a bit of a chance to fight back against the online Goliaths?
No. This goes nowhere near far enough. In addition to the size of the tax take, the burden, retailers' fundamental concern is that they perceive there is an unequal treatment between the business rates that they have to pay on the high street and the online guys who pay very little relatively for their out-of-town distribution centres, or nothing at all if they are distributing from offshore.
When do you go along with that briefly, would you?
Well, in relation to VAT, there are some moves on VAT. So one of the things that is being brought in is to make online platforms responsible for VAT where a foreign seller has not paid it.
All right, Wendy, Nicholls, Joe Schurder. I've got to leave it there, I'm afraid.